Hey everyone, this is Sarah from The Blonde Spot, and today I'm going to show you how to schedule content out on Buffer. Now, the thing about Buffer is that you can schedule content organically after creating and curating your own content, or you can use some of their queues and feeds and modify the content in those queues and feeds. The feeds are done via RSS from the channels and the websites that you want to take a look at specifically. So let's go ahead and dive into how to do it on Buffer. All right, so here we are on my Buffer page. You can see that I have a couple of different clients here, but we're going to be focusing on the Blonde Spot's social media content today. So as you can see, I have quite a few of my posts done. Just kidding. I have a couple that have been scheduled out in there from our podcast, Monday Morning Mimosas. So if I ever come onto my account and I see that I don't really have a whole lot of content going on, what I can do from my mobile device and from my Buffer app is jump into the content inbox. This is where you can add multiple feeds and create a powerful set of content that's ready for you to jump in and modify based on your interest and your business goals. So since the Blonde Spot focuses mainly on social media marketing and branding, we're going to put in some of my favorite places to gather information from. One of those places first is called Root and River. They are a branding company out of Texas, and they're pretty amazing. I really love the content that they share, and it's really specific to branding, which is great. Okay, so one thing and why I pulled Root and River up first is because sometimes when you're adding a link or looking for a business in a feed that doesn't have a content inbox already set up, and this happens, I mean, clearly, I'm not talking about religion on my marketing pages. So what you'll do then is go to a screen here and type in their website. And you'll grab the URL. Musings is what they call their blog. So we'll grab this and pull this over into Buffer. And then Buffer will find it, and you can select the feed that you want to add, and then it adds it directly in there, which is really great. The next thing that you can do is come back over here, and I really love Entrepreneur Magazine. And they do a really great job of adding in content that most of the time tends to be pretty relevant to my messaging. Another great place to go is called Brandish. Again, we have the same problem, so we'll type in Brandish. So here there's all of their stuff here. We want to pull their blog. And they're all about Amazon. So every now and then I'll pull in content about that because it's pretty relevant and great for keywording. We'll pull in their feed here. The next one is Social Media Examiner. And I love HubSpot. HubSpot has a couple of different things going on here, so you want to make sure that you pull in the correct one. Otherwise, you're going to find some really interesting content up there. We're going to pull in HubSpot.com and click on blogs. We want the marketing blog. And we'll grab this and pull it in here. And it should add that for us. It looks like it's not going to pull it in. So when that happens, you can sometimes scroll down to the very, very bottom of their page, and they should have information in the footer, but it doesn't look like they do today. So we'll just continue to move on. At this point, I'm going to say that we have a pretty decent amount of websites and content that we can pull from. So what we can do next is start adding to our queue. And the way that you do that is just by hitting add. And since we're posting to Facebook, it's not going to allow us to populate this feed at all with anything that's pre-populated. So what I like to do is actually click on this link here and open it up in another page and read a little bit about this article so that I have an understanding and a grasp of what it is that I am going to be talking about. And usually if there's a really great quote to have in here, I will pull that and quote it as my content piece. Again, this is if you are like on a vacation or need to be quick on the go and have to pull something into your feed really quickly to keep up with that consistency in messaging. So it looks like this article is really specifically talking about how to optimize your website for customer experience, which is really great. That is something that we talk about on the Blonde Spot, so I can pull up over in here and say something like, has your business's website been optimized for customer service? And then you hit add to queue, and it will add it into your list of content. It's going to pull it out for tomorrow because I've set up my content schedule on Buffer to post 2 times a day, one at 11:41 a.m. and then again later in the afternoon at about 3:40. To continue going through, you can keep doing this. How to keep up with social media in 10 minutes a day. That's really important because it's vital that your business keeps up to date with social media and all of the stuff that's coming out. So this one, I will definitely say something like, listen up, here's a few great ways you can fit in your marketing updates each day. Add to queue, and it places it right into my queue, which is super awesome, and I love that. Next, since I've done a few entrepreneur magazine type articles, I'll probably scroll down a little bit to add some variation and make it look like I'm pulling content from other places other than just Q, because that can get redundant. So Emily Sikorsky, she is really amazing. She started and founded Root and River along with her co-founder Justin, and she was featured in a magazine in Scottsdale recently, and it's really incredible. And I definitely want to say, hey, this is a really great branding company, and give a shout out to them because they've helped me a lot with my branding and messaging as well. So when you do something like that, or write a piece of content that's to showcase something or to say, hey, great job, guys. If you're posting only to Facebook via an app like Buffer or Sprout Social, you can start to target and link that company together if it populates. And you just write a little message. Add to queue, and away it goes. And the great thing too is that rather than just keeping it in this content inbox, it removes it from the content inbox so that you can't repost it ever again. Another thing that you can place in here in your content inbox, that is if you have a certain part of your marketing or your personal brand that speaks directly to something, like for me, it's being nerdy, you can add that in there and just make sure that the content you post from there has a direct correlation to how you function as a business. So I wouldn't necessarily come in here and add something like, oh man, did you see Game of Thrones last night? That was unreal. I may think that and put that on my personal feeds, but on my business feeds, I'll put something in here like the marketing campaign that led up to the release and premiere of the new Game of Thrones episode for season 7 was really intense and creative, and here are my thoughts on it, or here is an article that is a great example of a really authentic marketing piece. Something like that, so that I can still share a little bit of that personality that I have and also keep it true to my messaging. The rest of this in here, I mean, it's pretty great. If you're ever really just in a hurry, just click add. And top 10 tech tools for maximizing business to business sales. Come in to the article. As always, you're going to skim, take a look, and see if you find anything that seems familiar to you. Or you can say something even like, some of these tools are a little newer, but seem promising. What do you think? Would you be willing to try out a product like any of these? Can add to queue. Why your great idea actually sucks. It's a pretty sharp point, but it's a really great point at the same time. You want to make sure that you get people to understand that you don't want them to get caught up in ideas. Making sure that you stay mission focused is important. Can add that to queue. And actually, since we don't have this link pulled up in the browser, we want to pull that back up and then add that to queue. And something that you can do to change it around a little bit. Let's pause this. We can grab this link here, go back to our queue, hit in here, paste the link. We can change this image to be something a little bit more fun. Another strategy that you can use is you can repost the same link with a different point and a different image, just like I showed you there. And that's what I really love about these tools, is you can grab a link from literally anywhere. Let's see what we learned from spending 100K on Facebook ads. So that's a really great point. A lot of people ask Facebook ad questions, but that's for another discussion. So we'll pull this link from HubSpot. We'll pull it into our little featured post area here. And if I don't like this image, you can click upload an image, select a different image that you actually do like and think is a little more on brand with your aesthetic for your business. And back in the day, aka before the 18th of July this year, you were able to modify all of these little tiny sayings and titles and descriptions of these links onto your page. And Facebook decided to do away with that. So you no longer can change any of the metadata on your posts. So if you are a blogger or a writer or share content from your page, whether it's an actual blog post or just a page in general, you have to make sure that you have all the proper metadata put into your page. Otherwise, it's going to look like crap and it's going to be blank, which isn't good. So always set a featured image. Always make sure that you have a description or title to your page or link or blog. Have a great link set. And you also have a meta description, which is just 160 character or less description of what your article or page is about. Add to queue. And there it goes. Another thing that you can do with some of your branded properties is you can select different profiles. So I can put in my Twitter account, and I can go to, let's see, let's pull a new article here. I love The Skimm. I think they're a great company started by a couple of really great millennials. So I'll just pull this link in here and I'll talk about The Skimm because employee and peace of mind and work-life balance is also a really on-brand point for me. So I'll get rid of all of this pre-populated text. Do keep in mind that now we are posting to both Facebook and Twitter. So you need to make sure that this URL stays in the description. You can come in here and talk about how important work-life balance is. Add to queue, and off it goes. It's pretty simple, and there really isn't a whole lot to it. So if you have questions, put them in the comments. If you think this video sucked, go ahead and put that in the comments too. I like to know what you like and don't like so that I can further optimize my videos and how I teach you guys how to do quick little tidbit things. So if you have any comments, again, just hit me up, and we'll see you next time for a quick social media drop-in.